Hello. Can everybody hear us? We're all set to go. We got a couple people inside the chat now, so welcome to Our Dinner is Done. I'm Sally. This is my husband, Jimmy.
Jimmy. Hello.
You may hear our baby back there. The babysitter is on the way. So tonight we are making some sweet and spicy salmon with some jasmine rice and garlic green beans with some shallots too. So it's really, really tasty. We eat a lot of salmon in this house.
We do. It's a great fish.
It's a really yummy, yummy fish. So we have some right there. It's about a pound, but obviously you're going to make whatever whatever you need in your own home or however.
Yeah, when we got packaged, you can go to the fish market and ask for a nice sized portion. I'd say if you were in a restaurant, your average size portion is going to be somewhere between 7 and 9 ounces. So if you've got a pound, it's going to be about enough for 2 people.
Right. So this is about enough for us. Although I have to say, like, sometimes when we get these smaller packages like this,
just a little
we
more.
do. We're big eaters, so I'm the big eater, so we like to eat. So, hi Babs, welcome. All right. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is talk to you about how I prepared the jasmine rice. Tonight, I'm just making it in our rice cooker. So I already rinsed some rice. I'm going to make 2 cups of white rice. And usually follow the directions on the package, for cups of rice to the ratio of how much water you need. Generally, I use just a little bit less water than they call for on the package. I just like my rice a little fluffier. And sometimes when you do the amount on the bag, it might be just a little bit kind of mushy. So I already have that rinsed and ready to go. I have 2 cups of white rice to about 2.5 cups of water. And I also add some garlic seasoning, some garlic powder, onion powder, and some salt, just to give it some flavor too. You could use whatever rice you have on hand, but I like jasmine rice. It has a nice fragrance. It has a nice flavor to it. And then this just adds a little bit more flavor too. So I'm going to give it a stir. Put it in the rice cooker, and then this usually cooks in about 15 to 20 minutes. It just pops when it's ready, and it tells you when it's ready to go. So that's the super easy way to make white rice. You could also make it on the stovetop. Just put it in a pot, have the water boiling. Once the water's boiling, you put the lid on, turn the heat to low, and then you let it simmer again for about 15 to 20 minutes, and then you're good to go. So this is going here. I'm going to plug that in and set this all up over here. And like I said, we'll hear it pop when it's ready. So that's going to be off to the side.
Hi, Anastasia. Hope you're doing well.
Welcome
as well.
Welcome for joining us. Hi, buddy. It's okay. All right. The other thing I'm going to prep before we even do anything with the salmon, because the salmon's really not going to take long at all, is we're just going to prepare the green beans. So I have the green beans here, and I think that we talked about this before a couple episodes ago about just kind of snapping off the end of the green bean. And so I usually put another bowl for the garbage over here, and I'll actually, you know what? I'm going to put them. I'm actually just going to put my garbage here on this towel. And then I'll put the finished green beans in this bowl here so that we're ready to go. So usually what you're going to do, you can see it here, is that one of these ends is like where like the stem is. That's the one that you're going to want to like snap off, and you could hear it snap. You don't have to snap off the other end if you don't want to. You can if you want. You don't have to. But sometimes I usually just will do both like that. And you'll put the good ones here. I already rinsed these green beans too. From the store, you want to make sure you always rinse your produce before you're ready to go. And so this takes a little while. You could easily do this with a knife too. You could line them up and just chop off the ends if you wanted. But I always kind of like doing this. I like doing it as a kid too. Excuse the noise in the background. You could hear our dogs playing and Jimmy entertaining the baby. So I apologize for that. Hey, Mom, do you have to do this right now?
You can actually kind of see it just with your hands.
Yeah, you can see them in the background. They're playing tug. They're much louder and scarier sounding than they actually are. They're good babies. So I'm just going to shuck these and get these ready to go. And then we're going to prepare these with just some garlic and shallots and some olive oil. And they come out really tasty. We're going to kind of blanch them first, and then we'll saute everything together too. So this is a really, like we said, really kind of easy dinner that we do quite frequently. I think my mom is here at the door. Gonna take the baby. So how do you like to make your salmon? We like to make it with this like sweet and spicy chili sauce that we used when we made our peanut noodles. This is what we like to put on top. I know some people like to make it teriyaki style or like with like a soy glaze or something like that. You could obviously use whatever you want. My dad is a fan of salmon oreganata, which is really good too, which is like with breadcrumbs and butter. We could make that one night on here. I think that would be a good way to make it also. You could do a couple of these at a time. I'm doing them like one at a time, and it's taking a little while. But we're getting these ready to go now. So did anybody say how they like to make their salmon?
Nope.
No. I like, actually, this meal is inspired by the way I used to eat it at Bonefish Girl. I used to love to get the bonefish salmon with jasmine rice and the haricot bears on the side. So this is about a pound to green beans that we're getting
Is it? I
prepared.
don't know.
Yes, it's about. I would guess it's about a pound. That's what we tried getting.
I didn't weigh it. I just put them in there.
You can search. I can do these too if you want. I like.
Green beans are also great for dogs.
I was just gonna say that. You took the words right out of my mouth.
As
That
I feed them to Hogan.
they're actually really good for them. And if your dog is overweight, it's something that you could throw in the food.
My mom said she's never made salmon.
Never?
Never?
Wait a minute.
I never had salmon growing up. We ate fish.
That seems
You never made
like
salmon?
that seems
Did
like
we
it's
just
not
have
true.
like fillets of whitefish? I know Dad
maybe
liked
you had
whitefish.
whitefish.
Is that why?
Maybe you had whitefish growing up. Oh, the baby said,
The baby's gonna eat salmon pretty soon. It's a couple of weeks away from that.
That's okay. Hello, the strollers out front or the chairs in back. You can keep him occupied. He's chilling right now. Our baby's in his stand up toy. You can kind of see it in the background there. He's been liking that. He just started crawling this week. He's on the move. But anyway, so what we were saying is that these green beans are really good for dogs. So if your dog is overweight, or even if they're not, you could add it to their food because they're low calories, but they're good for their diet. So
Yes, Anastasia said salmon is the best.
yes,
I agree.
I love it's definitely my favorite fish. Maybe that's cliche, but it's my favorite one.
It's definitely your favorite.
It has the most. I feel like it has the most flavor.
It's not my favorite.
I know
It's
not-
up there.
Yeah,
I
know
like
it's not his
salmon.
favorite.
There's another dark, like orangey sort of fish.
Pink fish.
Arctic char.
Arctic char is
I
good,
really like. Trout is good. Tougher to find. Definitely more expensive. Salmon you can pretty much find everywhere.
Yeah.
But I like a meaty whitefish, like a halibut or a red snapper.
Oh, red snapper is
favorite.
good too.
But salmon, it's so versatile. It's the same reason why we cook with a lot of shrimp. We cook with a lot of chicken thighs.
Because you could really make them whatever way you want, and you have a lot of options. So also, when you're doing this with the green beans, you could kind of take a look and see if you've got any funky ones in there on your way through. And if you do, you could just toss those. These are fresh. You just got them from the store today, so these are good to go. Our dogs like them. They're like standing here. I don't know if you could see in the background. They love green beans, and they want some here. Can you see? Oh, I think you could see a little bit in the back.
You can't catch anything.
Big you could see. But anyway, so what we're going to do with this is we're going to boil these green beans in some water only just for a couple of minutes. You're gonna kind of semi-cook them because you want them to still have a little bit of a crunch, and then we're gonna further cook them later. So you're gonna just let them cook just down a little bit, soften up.
Just blanch them for a bit.
Blanch them, yeah. We're not gonna blanch them in an ice bath, but we're just gonna use some cool water. You could stop the cooking process that way too. So that's what we'll end up doing. And you can get that water boiling for us.
Yeah, it's not going to be that much, so
It
it'll
won't be a
go
whole
pretty
lot.
quick.
Anything in
Oh, my mom said salmon wasn't big in the 70s and 80s.
Oh,
We strictly ate whitefish.
okay, good to know. Didn't know that. I mean, like we said, we eat a lot of salmon now, so maybe it's just become a more popular fish. I know it's definitely, you get, I think they're like farm raised and stuff too, and there's certain salmon that you shouldn't eat and salmon that you should. I mean, that
this
goes
is
for a lot of
Atlantic
fish.
salmon. You couldn't eat that when you were pregnant.
Yeah, I actually could not eat Atlantic salmon when I was pregnant. That was on the no-no list. But I could eat salmon, Alaskan king salmon I could
It's
have.
the more expensive one.
It is, and it's harder to find. The Atlantic salmon you could find more often. So,
You'll find the Atlantic salmon is always like the frozen salmon as well.
yeah. Yeah, we're just going to let that boil up just a little bit there. Like we said, we're just not a whole lot of water that you need. Not a whole lot. And we'll only cook them down just a couple minutes. And then we'll stop the cooking. And we'll stop the cooking, and then we'll add them to the pan with some shallots and some garlic. For yummy little treat. If you want,
Yeah,
I'll
they're
scoot
super
over
easy.
and you can start cutting.
I don't have tons of cut, but
Okay.
maybe I should probably help you. That's what I should have been doing.
Would have been nice.
I hate doing this. This is like my least favorite thing. I don't know
this
why.
is why I always end up doing it on the holidays, I guess.
hate doing this. I'll
Why
do
did
everything.
you have to do it as a kid or something?
No, I had to shuck the shells off shrimp.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever we had a barbecue, I had to shuck all the corn. Which
Okay.
for some reason we had like 24 ears of corn. It's not like there were that many people.
Yeah.
Those were always my tasks. I was always shucking things.
I always did this. I always did the green beans. And when I was a kid, I was always in charge of washing grapes. I don't know why, but I was always the one to wash the
grape
grapes.
washer.
But I think it was just because I used to really like to eat them with my dad, and my mom would bring a big, pound or 2 pounds of grapes home, and we could finish them between the two of us. So I'm still like that with grapes.
Yes, you are. She's always saying, "Get these things away from me."
This one's a little funky, so I'm gonna toss that one. This might seem like it's a little bit of work, but it's worth it.
It's really not that much
It's
work.
not. It's not a whole lot of work.
I'm just
Really.
being
And
lazy.
we could have done this on obviously before we got on camera, but that's okay.
We wanted to show you, and I didn't want to do it.
Yeah, and I didn't show you how we prepared the rice. So like I said, that's something that you could do any way you prefer to do it at home. And question for anybody who's watching, do you rinse your rice? This is something that I just started doing recently, and I did not always do this, but then I heard, oh, you really should be rinsing your rice before you make it. Wasn't something that I did. You kind of rinse off the excess, starch, and
Rice grows underground, so you're also getting any
yeah, you're getting
dirt
it.
off. You don't want to overwash it too,
Yeah,
then you lose some of the nutrients.
And also, it could get waterlogged and get kind of mushy, and it's not as easy to cook.
Bev said a knife or scissor is faster.
That's probably true.
Scissor makes sense.
Scissor. Oh yeah, I was
We
actually.
never use that.
We don't. We have this. We have the food scissor, and we never use it. That would make our life a lot easier.
Anastasia said she's never heard of rinsing rice.
Yeah. So again, I went way beyond 30 years not rinsing my rice, but just started doing that now. Okay, so these green beans are now rinsed, and the ends here are snapped off. So these are ready to go. And I'm just going to toss the end bits here. Put this in the sink.
So while the water for the green beans is boiling, I'm just going to prep what we're going to cook them in. So we're going to use garlic, and we're going to use our other shallot, which is more mild for children. Thank you, Sloan. So I'm just going to prep this little guy. So just peeling the outer layer off. Probably close that.
Yeah, I'm gonna close that door.
Just realized. It is a nice fall day here in
Northeast.
the Northeast. So just peeling the outer layer of skin off of the shallots. All right. Shallots are nice and peeled. Get my garlic ready. We're going to use, we got about a pound of green beans here. I'm going to use about 3 to maybe 4 cloves of garlic. We always err on the heavier side with garlic. 1, 2, 3 and a quarter. Let's do it's a nice round 4. Nice even number. All right, let's just get these ready. I'm just going to take the knife on top, give them each a quick little smash. You can see when it's a smaller amount of water, it comes to a boil rather quickly. Lost the garlic clove, but rinse it off and call it good to go. Yeah, Anastasia, it is very nice fall weather. I'm wearing sweatpants. I'll probably have a hoodie on later.
Yes, I was wearing a hoodie all day too.
Nothing better than a hoodie and jeans. Just the best kind of weather.
It really is. And, you know, the day actually started out pretty gloomy here. It was raining, and it was really gray and yucky and kind of cold.
It was really cold, yeah. Like when I was out this morning, I ate lunch in my car because I'm a teacher, and I'm still leery of eating indoors in a large public space filled with hundreds of children. Some of the teachers eat in like a room that isn't occupied by children, but I'm really not comfortable doing that either. So I've been eating outside every day, but today it was rainy and too cold, so I ate a sad and lonely meal in my car. But it worked. Kept me safe.
Yeah, yeah. But fortunately, the weather's really nice now. The sun is shining, and I mean the sun will be setting pretty soon. But it's really nice right now for the time being, and the weather warmed up a bit. Although it's still on the cooler side, so it's nice like light jacket weather or hoodie weather.
Light jacket. Your brother put up a big thing about honoring light jacket weather, which is weird. Like he's out in Cali. Like do they even wear jackets? I mean, I guess I guess they do because everything below 80 is cold.
Yeah.
Babs turned on the heat.
Oh yeah, turned on the heat this morning, especially in the car for sure. You definitely have done that this morning. It was like we said, it was not a nice morning, but it turned out to be a nice afternoon. So can't complain about that. I think it's supposed to be relatively nice this weekend also, and hopefully we have a mild winter though, so that people can still spend time with their families outside, and get some family time in during these crazy times. I think what I am going to do is put the green beans in here.
I think
because
so.
This water is boiling.
Getting emotional about family time.
This water is boiling. Let me move this over here. So we're going to throw in these green beans. Like we said, you're going to put this in. You're going to let them kind of cook down for a couple of minutes. I would say maybe like 3 or 4 minutes. And you could give one a taste after that time and see if it still has a little bit of a crunch to it. You don't want to overcook them. You never really want to overboil vegetables because then they lose their nutrients. And then, especially with green beans too, you want them to still be nice and bright too.
Yeah, and they're going to be finished cooking in the little sauce.
In the sauce, yeah. So I'm just going to put these in here for now.
Yeah.
And let them kind of. I'm going to use that spoon. Spread them apart in here.
Our shallots all nicely diced up.
Good.
Just going to do the same with the garlic. And we can probably start the broiler. So we're going to put the oven on low broil.
Yes, on the low broiler. And also, let me just make sure where the rack is. You want to have the rack about 5 inches or so below the broiler for this. So I'm just going to actually move the rack up to the next one.
Since we're using the broil setting, it's going to cook rather quick. So you want to have the right distance away. So you're cooking it at a good even temperature, but not burning it.
Right, you don't want to burn it, but you do want to get like a nice kind of brown color on top. Okay, so I'm going to set the broiler on to low. Let that preheat. I have the timer on for this. Give this a couple minutes to cook down. Like we said, this is one of those really kind of fast meals that we like to make during the week.
On a Friday.
Yeah, on a Friday. Like a lot of the time too, Fridays was like a day that we would kind of order in. At the end of the week, sometimes you don't feel like cooking. So when we do feel like cooking on a Friday, we try to make something that's kind of easy breezy.
Very user friendly.
Yeah, easy breezy. And then there's not like a whole lot of cleanup either for something like this. You got your one pot for the green beans. You put some aluminum foil down on your tray, so that's easy for cleanup too. And with the rice cooker, that's nice and easy for cleanup as well. So we're gonna let that go. Look at this. His chops are always so much better than mine. They're so pretty there.
It's just practice.
They look good. And once these green beans cook down, we're gonna just drain them and set them aside. And then we'll return them to this pan here with the shallots and the garlic when we're ready to do that. So it gives them some nice flavor. Green beans too, they're really good. I feel like green beans take the garlic flavor really nicely.
Yeah, oh definitely.
So it's always like really yummy. You could always add like other things that you like. If you don't have garlic on hand, use garlic powder. You could always top some with like a little bit of Parmesan cheese. We always like Parmesan cheese in this house. I feel like we do that with
Parmesan
everything.
cheese in anything. I mean, if you're making a simple vegetable, you don't want to cut up onions. You don't want to cut up garlic. Anything. Green beans, garlic, cauliflower, anything. If you just cook it down, whether you're gonna lightly blanch it, saute it, roast it, olive oil, salt, pepper, lemon, and Parmesan cheese, you're pretty much
and you're
golden.
really good to go. Yeah, I actually heard our rice cooker pop. So now it's up to like the warm setting. So that wasn't even that was probably about 15 minutes or so, maybe 20 minutes we've been on. Maybe a little bit longer than that, but that just tells us when it's good. So normally, like what I usually like to do is I'll leave it there. And I'll unplug it so that it finishes cooking. But I leave the lid on just so that it kind of steams up some more. And then when we're ready, we give it a nice big stir and it'll be nice and fluffy.
Oh, look at that. It's 2 fillets.
Oh, it's cut. Look at that. I thought you were going to have to cut it. That's actually more than I thought was in there.
Lovely. 2 nice fillets. Skin on, that's always good because it's going to add, they're just going to get nice and crisp.
Yeah. That looks
Very
good.
nice fillets.
I think that these green beans are probably going to be good to go too.
Yeah. I'll transfer those over for you.
Oh, they're perfect right now.
Stop there.
Go. So turn up the heat. We're going to drain these out. They have a nice little saltiness to them too because he salted the water just like we do with like pasta. So that was good. That's yummy. And then what you're going to do is he's going to take that same pan that he was using before, We'll add some olive oil. We'll put it on about medium heat, I would say.
Yep.
And let that olive oil heat up, and then we'll cook the shallots first because we don't want to burn the garlic. So we'll give them some time to cook down before adding the garlic and the green beans back in.
And also right now I'm running the green beans under nice cold water to stop the cooking process. You could drop them into an ice bath as well.
Absolutely.
This will work just as effective.
Yeah. If you're using the ice method, that's what chefs call, blanching, and that just disrupts the cooking and it stops it because we don't want them to get mushy. So that was 3 minutes boiling in this water. Then we take them out. We're going to rinse those off. This oil, I'm going to put this on medium heat. We're going to add our shallots in there and let those kind of cook down, soften up, and become translucent. And then once we feel like they're kind of softer, then we can add the garlic and the green beans back in.
Yep. Nice and easy.
Really, really simple. And you could absolutely do this with any type of vegetable. And also, you can do this with frozen green beans. Frozen green beans are actually really good. That's one of the vegetables that we will use frozen. I like frozen peas. I like frozen green beans.
Frozen spinach.
Frozen spinach we use oftentimes. So that's definitely one that you could use if you don't have access to get it fresh. That looks good and sounds good and smells good.
It's the beauty of sauteing onions. It smells good right away.
Yeah. And do you want to salt and pepper the salmon?
Yeah, so salmon is going to be quite simple. We have 2 nice fillets. So, I mean, you could even ask if you went to fish market or even at the local grocery market. They can generally cut it up for you. You can ask for a size. These are 2 nice fillets. These are going to be the tail fillets. So you can tell that they're nice and thin. They're going to cook up nice and evenly. So I'm just going to salt and pepper.
And the only thing we're going to add to this, other than the salt and pepper, is that sauce.
Yeah.
And this is store-bought sauce. I'm sure you could maybe make this on your own. Never tried. I don't know what would be really in it, but it's a sweet chili sauce. That
chilies, oil.
Yeah, you're going to find it like a stir-fried sauce. You can find this in the Asian aisle of your supermarket. It might say Thai sweet chili or just sweet chili. There's several different brands of this. So yeah, it's just going to be like sugar, crushed garlic, chili peppers, that kind of mixture together. And it's sweet, but it also has a little bit of heat to it. And if you don't like, if you don't like a lot of heat, I wouldn't add it. But it's not overly hot.
No, it's not. I think it's sweet more so.
I do too. I agree that it's a little bit sweeter than it is hot.
So I'm seasoning both sides. I love the salmon skin, and it's going to get a nice little bit of crunch. So I'm going to eat the salmon skin off mine, so I'm going to season both sides.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes I'll eat it, sometimes I won't. Depends on the mood. I like it when it's like nice and crunchy.
So off the grill, it'll get really nice and crunchy. All right, so we're going to get ready to put that in. Do you need this anymore?
No, I don't. Well, actually, I do for the rice, so I'll take that from you. So we gave these a stir again.
So we're going to use the sheet pan, but we're also going to use some tin foil. The reason we're going to use the tin foil is it is going to act as a little base, and it's going to catch any of the sauce that runs off. So, again, for the ease of a Friday meal, we're going to end up with a clean sheet pan that is not going to have baked-in sauce. So I'm just going to kind of tent up the sides and make a little barrier so that nothing runs off. And then I'm really not going to need to clean the sheet pan. I'm just going to run it under the water, but I'm not going to have to put some elbow grease into scrubbing it.
Yeah, and the salmon, I feel like, you're just going to be able to kind of eyeball how much sauce you want. I think that, by the end of this meal, we'll probably use maybe about a half a cup of that sauce or so.
You can measure it out first.
Yeah.
As I eyeball it.
Yeah.
We do with everything.
And you want to also, you're going to use a little bit, before you put it into the oven, you're going to want to make sure that it's nice and evenly coated with the sauce. But when you pull it out, you're going to add some more. So just make sure that you leave enough for yourself. Like we didn't have a full bottle here, but we're going to have more than enough.
So that's half a cup, which is
I would say that's probably a good amount.
100 milliliters.
And these shallots are like really cooking down already.
Yeah, so half a cup's going to be plenty. So I'm just putting it on there, and then I'm just going to spread it around with a spoon. I want to make sure I get it along the edges as well.
And coat it up.
Just coat it a little bit.
This is actually Jet Tila's recipe.
Yes.
We're definitely big fans of his.
Huge fan of Jet Tila. He's amazing. Amazing chef. He's like the master of Thai food.
Yes.
That's why we will never call anything we cook Thai, because it's not going to be real Thai food. But he just
Thai
seems like an
inspired.
all-around good guy, too.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's, just nice and coated up. Our oven is already preheated to the low broiler setting. So that we're going to add, we're going to put that right in.
Yep.
And I would say you're going to kind of set your timer for anywhere between 5 and 10 minutes. I think since these are relatively thin,
Yeah, they are.
we're going to set it for 5 minutes to start, and then we'll give them a check. But we want to make sure that they're cooked through and also kind of have this nice golden brown on the top. And while that's cooking, we can now kind of finish up the green beans.
Yeah.
So we're
That's not
going...
gonna take long at all.
No, it's not. And these shallots are already cooked down, so now we can add the garlic. So, like we said, you always want to add the garlic after. You don't want to cook the garlic and onions at the same time.
So many recipes call for garlic and onions at the same time, which makes no sense.
Yeah, I
Just
mean,
don't cook.
unless your garlic were like in huge cloves or something. But when they're small and finely chopped like this, you're definitely just going to want to cook them through and not burn them. And onions take a lot longer to cook. Peppers also take a lot longer to cook. So the garlic is something that you're going to just throw in at the very end.
I mean, the smell of garlic and onions, though. I mean, and this has been in for 15 seconds.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
The best. But right, we're going to let this kind of cook down a little bit. Add some salt and pepper. You're going to add some salt and pepper, too, when you add your green beans. And you might even want to add a little bit more oil. Yeah. So I would say maybe about 4 tablespoons.
Oh, tablespoons?
Yeah.
Oil? Altogether, probably.
Altogether?
Yeah.
Give or take. So let's see. So now we're ready for the green beans.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to let him stir that up really good. I'm going to put these in. Excellent.
Yeah. So I'm just going to put a little olive oil over the top of them, just so it's going to soak up the sauce. I'm going to add my salt and pepper.
Smells great already. I wish we had like a view into our oven here to see the salmon, but I'm just going to put the oven light on so I can take a peek.
It's been in there for
Just about a minute. So we're going to give it some time to kind of rest up in there and cook through.
And I have the green beans and garlic and scallions on the lowest heat possible, because the green beans are already cooked, the garlic's already been cooked, as well as the shallot. So right now,
Just kind of heating it
Just
through,
heating it
keeping
through.
it warm. Also, too, I feel like if you make this dish, you can add, if you like some soy sauce or something like that, you can add soy sauce to your chili mixture, or maybe once the salmon is finished cooking and you want to add it to your rice, you could really play around with this. I don't have it up on our list of ingredients, but we do have green onions on hand that we just recently got. Yeah, they came in our Misfit box. So you definitely add this to the top once everything's finished cooking. That'll give it a nice little flavor. You do have to rinse these. I haven't rinsed them yet.
Oh, okay.
But you can kind of just dice those up and throw them on top. Yeah, we don't need too many. Actually, we had a little mishap with our box. Our blackberries got all squished and they got onto all of the other produce. And I think those might have some blackberry
They did.
taste
They definitely did.
on there. I want to eat one of these green beans. They smell so good. Oh.
Yeah.
They're so perfect like this.
It's so
And they're
simple.
so simple and easy to make, but they have a nice flavor.
So, by the way, I just cut off the end. You always want to cut off the end of anything that you're, any vegetable, because it's going to just be weathered by the environment. And then I'm just going to dice this up. It's going to be more of a garnish, but it is going to add some nice flavor.
Mm-hmm. It's just going to look pretty, too.
And you can go all the way down. It doesn't just have to be the green end. You can eat all the way down through the white end.
I feel like the white end has like an even richer flavor, too.
It does, and it has more of a crunch.
Yeah, it has a little bit of crunch to it. So that's perfect. So we have that to kind of throw on
Garnish is
top.
ready to go.
So really, this is it.
We're at 45
doing,
minutes, and we're basically done.
yeah, we're waiting for this salmon to cook through. We're gonna end up. I'm just gonna give our rice a quick stir, just to kind of fluff it up a little bit. Jimmy is the master of kind of plating the rice. He likes to make it fancy,
Right,
so he's gonna show you a little trick, a little trick to make your rice look very nice on the plate. Hey Mark, I see you. Hey, what's going on? So this. Oh man, I'm really hungry now. But let me give this rice a stir. The salmon is going to beep in just a couple of seconds, so he's going to check on that.
Yeah. We've been hungry since the minute I got home from work.
Yeah.
I had to
bread.
pick up the green beans. So when I was picking up the green beans, I also picked up a couple of hero rolls of bread, and there were 3 in here. We ate the first one because there's nothing better than bread and olive oil.
Yeah, and I'm just going to show you what the rice looks like in here. So you can see it's nice and steamy, but it's really perfectly fluffy too. This rice cooker is something that I think we actually got on Amazon. If I'm not mistaken, or maybe we registered for this when we got married. I can't remember. But either way, you can find rice cookers pretty inexpensive, but you don't need one. You could absolutely cook this on the stove in just a regular sauce.
We got it purely because I didn't know how to cook rice until I met her.
Yeah.
I was hardcore Atkins, and then after Atkins, I was paleo. So I hadn't eaten rice
He didn't
or
eat rice or
pasta in
starch.
like 5 or 6 years before we started dating.
Honestly, that was
super strict.
That was probably the one thing about him that I was like, he doesn't like rice or bread or.
Oh, I love it.
He loves it, but
I
he
just
wasn't eating
didn't
it at the
allow
time.
myself to eat it. So the salmon is cooked through.
Perfect.
And as you can see, there is no sauce that's gotten through. Do you want me to make it a little more charred on the top?
Yeah, I would like it a little browner.
So very easy to do. We're just going to kick up the heat to high on broil. But here's the thing.
Watch this.
High on broil, I'm going to need to put this salmon, which you can see right now. It's this nice, like, pinkish orange hue. Probably about 30 to 60 seconds in there. And it's going to have a nice char over the top. And if I let it go any further, if I wasn't watching it, it'll burn. Especially these thin pieces near the end of the salmon will become unrecognizably crispy.
Yeah, so you want to make sure that you are watching very closely, that it does not stay in there too long, okay? But you do want that kind of little bit of like a crunch on top.
Yeah.
So let's get I'm going to get our plate so that he can show you his rice trick.
Which rice trick am I making? The big one or the little one?
I feel like the big one.
I like the big one too.
So you use this one, correct?
So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to use, this is a dip bowl. It says dip on there. And we got this probably at a garage sale years ago.
I think so.
Because I thought it was very 70s and funny. But I saw this on a cooking show or something. I don't remember where. But I'm going to pack the rice into here and simply turn it over. And you're going to end up with this nice
pretty
little mound of rice.
You could use like any sort of ramekin or small bowl
yeah,
like
sometimes
that.
I'll do it with a small ramekin. You can fill anything with it. Sometimes I'll plate things in a small ramekin, and that would work as well. But for rice, I find the bigger one works, and we're going to eat it all.
And we are going to eat it all. That's no question. But also, you can just throw the salmon on top of the rice, and when it's a little bit wider on the plate, it's a little bit better than I think than the smaller ramekins, because then you have like this nice kind of evenly portioned meal. So he's just going to turn that salmon now, kind of brown up the other side.
And it's kind of cool. The sauce around it is really starting to crystallize.
Mm-hmm. So that's actually been in there for a little bit.
Soul on fire, all of the bread. Yes.
Yes, all bread. We eat a lot of bread. Sometimes.
That's why I got 3, because I'm going to want bread probably with this meal.
We probably will eat bread.
Probably tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And then probably on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Why not?
We like bread. What can you say? We really, we enjoy it. And one of these days, we're gonna have to show you this really, really yummy bread appetizer that we made.
Oh yeah.
That's really something that we should do, and I think that you'd really enjoy. Super easy again too, with Italian bread, some cherry tomatoes, some ricotta cheese, and some honey and crushed red pepper.
It's very
Really, really good.
Ricotta cheese.
Ricotta cheese. Okay, so I think we can start plating.
Yeah, so the salmon's been in there just about 2 minutes. On the nose.
Oh, it's bubbling up the sauce. It looks really good.
You can actually, you can actually see it starting to bubble up. And it's almost at that char that we like. I actually don't want to cook it any further because I think it's gonna overcook.
Yeah, so we're gonna leave this right up here. Yeah, it's too thin. You don't want to go too crazy with it.
Because even while it's sitting here, it's still cooking.
Yeah. So that's gonna settle down for just a moment. We're gonna add our the rice to the plate. We're gonna do our little trick that we were talking about, and then we'll put some green beans, lay the salmon on top, and then we'll throw some of those green onions at the very top, and it'll be a nice, really pretty dish.
So I just filled this container up with the rice. I'm just gonna pat it down. It's really nothing fancy at all. Nice
No,
little
it
pat
just
around.
ends up looking nice.
Yeah, it just looks pretty. And then just give it a quick flip. You could even go all the way to turning your plate over. Give it a nice little tap.
And there you go. How pretty is
Nice
that little
little
mound?
White rice. It is really gorgeous.
Yeah, it looks super, super pretty.
It's very chefy. It's my very chefy move.
It is.
Yeah.
I am going to take this leftover sauce too and just top the salmon with it. Just add a little bit more.
Again, fill up my container with rice.
This sauce was on raw salmon.
That's what it was, yeah. So we're not going to use that because that was on raw salmon.
I already did it though.
Throw it back in for a second.
I'm going to throw it back in. Yeah. Sorry, didn't realize that was...
I mean, technically salmon you could eat raw.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not sushi grade, so it's not the best idea, but
I'm just going to...
mix it up. We'll just throw it back in
I'm
for a
going to put
second.
it in for a second.
I'm just going to check and make sure the green beans are still good.
I think that they are.
Well, it's quality assurance.
Mm-hmm.
I got it. Dinner time with the pups. They look rather hungry.
Yeah, we'll end up feeding them as well.
So we'll let that go in for just a second. We've got our our rice down. We're gonna plate our green beans.
Yeah, I feel like using the tongs is probably the easiest thing. So
Yeah, that way you can get a
little bunch.
nice bunch of them. I'm also gonna try and have fun with this. You don't have to do anything fancy. I'm just gonna put them on one side and the salmon on the other.
Perfect. I've had green beans like a lot over the last couple of days. We use
our freshly.
Yes, we use freshly meals for lunch. We started doing that once we had our baby. It's just been like really easy for us for lunch. We don't have to worry about it. But most of the meals that I've eaten this week so far have had green beans in them. So
Yeah, I had a turkey dinner.
I had the turkey dinner today,
It was tasty.
and that was tasty. And the green beans were made with like maybe some walnuts and some mushrooms. They were yummy. Different style, so
So it works.
it works. And I like green beans anyway, so it's totally good. All right, there we go.
All right, salmon is good to go.
Perfect. Looks good. his chef spatula.
Very excited for this. It's really just a smaller spatula compared to your classic like pancake spatula. But when you think about it, this spatula is so hard to maneuver.
It is, and
Now,
it's really thick too.
It's tough to pick anything up. Now a spatula for the grill like this, not a would this be silicone? Not like a plastic silicone one like this. A metal one for the grill makes sense. You're flipping burgers, that works. But trying to pick up this salmon, I'm going to lose it. I'm not going to be able to pick it up. But this one with the slight curved edge is going to allow me to get under the fish and plate it nicely. It's a great like $4 or $5 investment.
Yeah.
Go.
Perfect. Looks good.
See, I'm able to pick up the salmon. Oh, you can't see. I'm able to pick up the salmon very nicely without losing any of that skin from the bottom.
It's actually a much bigger piece than I realized.
Yeah. Deceiving regard. I might even be able to cut it.
I think so.
Maybe I'll cut this one
Yeah. I'll take the
for
smaller one.
plating purposes.
Mm-hmm. I'll take the smaller one for now, and then end
come
up
back
eating
for seconds.
seconds anyway. Perfect. Now, how pretty does that dish look? Looks restaurant quality.
That one looks way better.
You're
This one.
gonna cut that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that one looks really good too.
The sauce is perfect.
And we will certainly be posting this on our Instagram page so you can see the photo and the recipe later on in the evening. We'll have, and I'll also repost this video onto our YouTube. If you don't follow us on there, follow us on there, please. And follow us on our Instagram, which is at OurDinnerisDunn on both of those pages. But look at this really pretty dish that was super easy to make. Oh, and I forgot all about our green onions.
Also has a nice pop of color.
It does. It looks super pretty. Perfect.
It's a good looking
What
dish.
a good looking dish.
This may be our prettiest dish yet.
I think so. Yeah, most photogenic for sure. Looks really yummy. And like I said, if you want, when you're going to eat it, you can add a little bit more of the sauce onto your rice, or you could even add a little bit of soy sauce or something like that. It's a nice kind of healthier meal for a Friday night. Nice, easy, healthy meal, healthy snack. Does anybody have any questions for us before we...
What's up, SoCal?
Oh, hey, man.
Open face turkey sandwich.
Awesome.
Yes.
Nice to see you. Welcome to
Hola.
our channel here.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming.
So here we go. This is ready to go here. If you can eat all the meat, I actually do want to eat one of these meats too. They look really good. That's it. That's it for tonight. I feel like we've been on for an hour, but did that feel like an hour?
No, it felt like 20 minutes.
I don't think it felt that long. I felt like the meal came together super quick. But super easy to prep, super easy to cook, not a whole lot to it,
No, not
but
at all.
very flavorful nonetheless. And I hope that you enjoy if you make it at home.
Come on, man. You know I do all the cooking.
It's true. I'm just here for support. I'm the supporter. I'm the one who helps with prep. I'm the sous chef. He's more of the master chef here. Unless it's like certain foods, but usually it's him.
Yeah. Nikki's quite the chef, though.
Ah,
Yeah.
didn't know that.
He cooks like all the big meals out in SoCal.
Very cool. So
Lots of like tomahawk chops I always see him posting.
runs in the family
Big
then.
and pretty. He's like Salt Bay and everything.
All right. So, sorry that you're just joining us, Judy, but that's okay. You can end up, like we said, you can watch the replay of this. We'll post it up on our YouTube, and we'll post a photo and the recipe on our Instagram. So, I guess we're gonna bid you all adieu now.
Yeah, I guess that's it. I think our dinner is done. It's time to eat.
Yeah, our dinner is done. So,
Otherwise, I'm gonna start eating that bread.
yeah. All right, so we'll see you next week on Wednesday.
When do we eat? I gotta ship this to you, right, SoCal? Just freeze it.
I feel like this is a California meal.
This is kind of as Cali-esque, I think, as we'll ever get.
Yeah, I think we eat a little richer here in this house, but that's okay. This one's nice and healthy.
It is.
All right, take
I
care.
don't know how to stop the video.
I'm going to stop it. So take care, everybody. Our dinner
Bye.
is done.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week on Wednesday.